Hi, Zizaran here, and today we are going to talk about the Exilecon schedule, predictions for Exilecon and PoE2, and all that good stuff. So I am in New Zealand right now.
I could barely recognize my own dick. Imagine that.
I'm excited. We're going to be in New Zealand for 3 weeks, and yeah, that's this video is going to be about the Exilecon schedule, which we're going to go over here now. And I'll throw in some predictions and hopes for PoE2. ZD, Methyl, ResQT, and Noogie are opening up, and everything that's purple is going to be streamed live, and then everything that is not streamed purple will only be at Exilecon. I believe last time that was like recorded and uploaded to their YouTube later. Then you have the keynote presentation is an hour and 30 minutes. So they're doing 30 minutes before and 30 minutes after, probably like talking about hopes and dreams and stuff. I don't think they get any actual like early info. I know I don't have any as well. So we should actually get to see everybody's genuine reaction to everything. So that's very, very exciting. So we'll have like there be a post-show discussion here as well. And then there's a PoE2 interview with Crip and Jonathan, and I'll be the first person to play Path of Exile 2 here, and that is streamed as well. Very excited about that. So that is very, very cool. And as far as I know, that is I'm on my own, so it'll just be me and you guys. Like I'll be streaming and chatting to you guys and people watching from the audience at Exilecon. So very excited for that. That is a great honor. Very, very cool. So many like cool topics that they're going to be going over. They do have meet and greet section too. So we have meet and greet with Nersing, Kitten Cat Noodle, and Melina. And it's going to be a little hectic, right? Because they're trying to do so much and it's just over 2 days. So obviously there will be some overlap and stuff. They offered me 2 meet and greets that I took. They were like, do you want 2 just to make sure everyone has a chance to meet? And I was like, yeah, let's do that. I'm down for doing 2. So we'll see where that is later. Developer panel here with, and this is streamed with Rory, Ed, and Jonathan. It's going to be very, very cool. Excited for that. Meet and greet here with Chris, Jonathan, and Eric. That's going to be very popular. They're like super cool people. Item design and mechanics with Dane and Hrishi. Hrishi's awesome. He, I don't know much about Dane, but I know Hrishi was also the guy who basically designed Archmage and Minder Matter and stuff like that. He actually basically made Minder Matter as a supporter before he was even a developer, because he made the Cloak of Defiance. So very, very cool. I've talked to him a decent amount. Narrative interview with Kitten Cat Noodle and Matt. If you're not familiar with Kitten Cat Noodle already, she does like really cool lore series. Very, very cool. Would recommend. Path of Exile does actually have very cool lore if you're not familiar with it. Another meet and greet with Noogie and Ziggity Mite. And then we have another meet and greet with Steel Mage and Zizaran. So that's my first one. I do have a second one too. And like, if anyone is at Exilecon, if you see me, feel free to just go up and say hi. I'm probably not going to be too busy for that. So I love meeting people, and I'm a massive attention whore, let's be honest. And then there's a meet and greet with David Breivik, Eric Schaefer, and Max Schaefer. If you don't know who they are, they're basically the Blizzard North devs, and they invented Diablo 1, and they're some of the big reasons, or only reason, that we have this genre and started it off so strong. So very, very cool. I got to meet all of them last Exilecon, and I've done stuff with them online as well. Really cool people. And then there's Path of Exile 2 gameplay showcase with Kriparian, and that is an hour long. Very cool. There is a meet and greet with Zizaran and Gazi TV, and then another one with Mathil and Quinn. Man, that'll be a fun one. Then there's a meet and greet for Mark, Rory, and Hrishi, and Chris and Bex has one at the same time, and people are going to have some hard choices here. But obviously people do generally go up to people and ask as well. There's a Path of Exile 2 animation interview with me and the animators, so Sam and Ed. That is 30 minutes long. Excited for that. Followed by a Path of Exile 2 gameplay showcase and chat with Steel Mage and Neon. Very exciting as well. Meet and greet with Subtractum and Lily, and then another meet and greet with Brox. And then there's an action RPG round table with Crip as a moderator, and then it's David Breivik, Max Schaefer, Eric Schaefer, Travis Baldry, Chris Wilson, and Eric Olofsson. And then before the race, we have a streamer roundup roundtable wrap up with me, Karn, Noogie, and Mathil. So that's like a 30-minute, like, wow, what all happened, what did we love, what did we hate, etc. So very, very exciting wrap up there. And then we have the race finals with Ziggity and Rice QT. So that's going to be an hour and a half long. And that is the schedule for Exilecon. So I'm very much looking forward to it. I had such a blast last time. And as far as conventions go, I've been to quite a few TwitchCons and stuff, and Exilecon blows everything out of the water. Such a good vibe. Everyone is so nice and chill with each other, and it's just such a good, yeah, like really good vibe. I really hope that they have a card game similar to last time. That was super fun. It was like a very interactive card game where you went around killing the developers, and the developers were different monsters and stuff. Sounds very violent. But it was really, really cool, and you get to like speak to loads of people while you're killing them, etc. So I hope there's something similar this time. As far as my predictions and hopes for Exilecon and all the announcements, obviously they've already said we're getting double the amount of classes. Really hope we get more news on what Scion is going to be, but I am assuming that it'll just be a combination of, similar to our current Scion, is a combination of all the current ascendancies. The new one will probably be a combination of all the new ones. And I wouldn't be surprised at some point that we'll see some sort of boss drop that lets you combine new and old ascendancies, right? Like maybe Ranger from new Scion and Ranger from, or sorry, like Raider from new Scion and Raider from old Scion at the same time, like a super Raider. That could be kind of cool as well. I'm really hoping to get more news on all the new ascendancies and a little bit like more in depth on especially like shape changing. I'm really hoping there'll be some sort of druidic summoner, like summoning bears and wolves and shit. I feel like PoE really misses that. It's like pretty much, I would say that's a cornerstone in any action role-playing games. And I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion, but that's something I always felt was a little missing in Path of Exile. It has done very well without it, obviously, but yeah, definitely something I would love to see. And I love like ravens and stuff in every game. Birds, very, very cool. So that type of skills would be very interesting. Like a SRS variant, I guess. Like some sort of like similar to SRS, but with birds. And maybe the permanent. I mean, no, we do have like cosmetics and stuff that does that, right? We have like bird cosmetics, I think, for SRS, or is it for anime weapon? I can't remember. I'm hoping and like, I'm not quite sure what it'll be, but I'm hoping and semi-expecting some sort of like 3 to 5 big quality of life things that they're just going to be like, boom, check this out. Similar to last Exilecon, they were like showing how like, oh, all auras in one button, etc. And yeah, really looking forward to see more about the PoE2 gem system. That's going to be very exciting. The number one thing that I'm hoping for, and I'm not necessarily expecting this, I must have said this in like 100, 200 videos over the years, but I always wanted Path of Exile to have a new standalone endgame. I think that would be such a like Giga Chad move right now too, where other ARPGs are struggling for an endgame. Path of Exile does have a very extensive one right now. But a thing that I've always found a bit of a shame is that every single thing in the game is connected directly to maps, right? Like, imagine if Delve was its own thing, completely unconnected to Soulfight or anything like that, and you could just be like, you know what, this league, I'm not really feeling maps. I don't really want to kill, like, that type of bosses. I'm going to do entirely, you know, oh, the Abyss Realm or the Breach Realm. Like, I'm only going to be inside, like, this whole new endgame mechanic. And then other things can be linked. Like some things can be linked entirely to maps. Some things can be linked entirely to the Beyond Realm, the Breach Realm, etc. Like I'm just hungering for a super standalone endgame. And obviously for solo self-fun, you would have to do everything that you want yourself. But in Tradely, you could like focus on one thing that you think is really cool and rewarding. And obviously, when you do have trade, everything balances itself out. If there's not a lot of people doing it, then it'll be more rewarding. So that's my number one hope and dream for Path of Exile, a pure standalone endgame that we can start tying new things to. And we haven't really had that before. We've had some things come kind of close, like obviously like Heist has been a little bit on its own. Delve is probably the most that has like almost been on its own except for Soulfight. I want to see some showcase of a boss fight. I think they probably don't want to spoil too much because they want us to like find things out and see things. I always feel like it's a big shame with data mining. I wish it didn't exist, and obviously as a content creator it's hard to avoid it because it does exist. I'm hoping that they'll do 1 or 2 more weapon types. I think they have already confirmed crossbow and spear, and they've talked about how there's going to be bow melee attacks now, right? There are going to be like hybrid attacks that are like part bow, part melee. That stuff looks really, really exciting. And I remember there were so many jokes about the characters' voice lines going like, incendiary bolt! Maybe some sort of like exotic weapon could be very cool. That is like, yeah, maybe it could just be called exotic weapon that's like, you know, like shurikens, some sort of martial art weapon, some sort of like katana. No, not katana. What's the D2 things that the assassin has is called? Katar? I don't know, but there's so many like cool weird weapons, that would be really, really interesting. Like a few more weapon types I think would be very cool that we could have skills based around and stuff. Another thing people are speculating on is, are we ever going to see a new character class? The last one added to Path of Exile is Ascendant. I really don't think so. I think it sounds like such a nightmarish hell to actually add one at this point, like the skill tree, etc. Like it's gonna be crazy, right? Um, so I don't see it. I mean, that would be very cool. They do incredibly surprising things that I never would have expected. So, and obviously, I'm not going to say that it's not going to happen, but that would be one of the most surprising things to me if they added like a new thing. I don't even know what it would be. Maybe they'll announce like a new currency or a few new currencies. They've done so many cool things in the past. The number one that I would really love to see is a reworked and something they're happy to have being the core of the game, being recombinators. I think recombinators were the most special feature, and even if they're worse, like even if they destroy the item more often, just the fact that every single item was sort of usable. Like I would prefer that it's more common but more high risk, that it like destroys or ruins item more often, rather than that they're something that's like super rare and you will only ever use on the best item. I would like it to be something that you're using quite a lot and just don't have a favorable result most of the time, so that you maybe don't want to use it on super rare and super crazy items, right? Like it's a big chance you're going to lose them. I think it would be a bit of a shame if it was something that you only saved for the absolute best items. But yeah, recombinators I think was the single best thing they added to the game, and my reasoning for that is because I feel like Path of Exile struggles a little bit by having both strong crafting and identified items, right? I feel like most of my items always ended up being crafted, and very few are things, oh, I found this and I'm using it. You always have to like craft quite a lot on items. I think we're going to see quite a lot of new skills, like a very large amount of new skills. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like an insane amount. Like obviously, like I don't want to like get my hopes up too much too, right? Because even if we're only getting like 10 to 20 new skills, that is like quite a lot already, and they're adding so much. And I'm just sitting here thinking like, man, with shape changing and stuff, like there's going to be so many new ones, right? Again, I don't want to put too much pressure on them, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're like 100 new skill gems or 200 new skill gems, including supports, etc., right? It's just like, I don't know. They've just done such an insane amount of stuff over the years, so it's hard not to have high expectations too, you know? Like, they like very rarely disappoint. We've had some pretty grim leagues like Calandra, but I feel like, you know, on average, like, there's a reason we have high expectations, right? And that's because they do some really cool shit. As for unique items, I think it would be really cool if we get a new item type. I don't really want set items. I feel like that's very destructive for games. I do think I know a good method of making it where you kind of make like dynamic sets. Like you can turn rare items into part set. Like I think that would be interesting. But other than that, I feel like sets make it so easily like best in slot, right? Like even in D2, it ends up like removing more choice than it adds. So set items are very scary. I'm not saying there's no way to have sets, but yeah, very, very hard to do. I would love an artifact tier. I know things like items like Harlequin Crest and stuff in D4 has gotten a lot of flack, right, for being insanely rare. And I think there can be room for items like that that are insanely rare, as long as they're like a pretty small part of the pool. That's a big problem in D4, is it's 10% of the entire unique item pool is like unachievable items. And on top of that, it's they could never be build enabling, right? They have to be sheer power. Like for example, let's say there was an artifact weapon, right? Then it could maybe just be like a 2000 damage axe. Nothing like special or crazy or build enabling about it. Just like obscene damage. Like that could be pretty interesting. But you would have to be very careful at that. But yeah, another tier or another form of items would be very, very interesting to see. Like I think the unveiled item system is super interesting. So something, a new thing that they come up with. Like they come up with so many cool things. So I would love to see that. So we have like uniques. But either way, that's like the main things that I am looking forward to and hoping for. Obviously, there's so many things they could do. They've always done crazy stuff. And really looking forward to playing again. It's been, what, 2 or 3 years? I feel like it was like 2019, the last one, right? So excited to be back in New Zealand. So I hope you guys are going to enjoy all the content. I should be able to start streaming again, I think. So we'll see. And yeah, thanks for watching. Sub if you liked the video, but more importantly, try to die less than I do.